Good morning. Good morning. I thought you might enjoy seeing me wrap my turban. So the first thing is I do the tails a little uneven, shorter on the side that's going to go in the front and longer on the other side. I spend a bit of time making sure that the back goes just to the bottom of my shaper, and then I make sure that the top doesn't come all the way to the front, because then it makes a weird bulk. And so then I start my twist, and then I spend some time on the part that's in the front, kind of removing some of the bulk and evening it out so that this part's a little more flat. And then I take and put them in the back, and I spend some time on the front making sure that everything is tucked the way I want it to be. That the front part goes in nicely and lays nicely. And then I go back and make sure that I've got the front the way I want it. So I've got everything kind of tucked how I want, and kind of fussing with the edges and the peak and stuff, because that will be important to me. And then I fan this side out a little bit with a little bit of pleating, kind of messy pleats. And then I bring that around in the back. Then I think, everything's kind of the way I want it. I can fuss with it a little bit more when it's done, but then at this point I spin around and I take my mirror and I check the back of my head to make sure everything looks the way I want it to. And then I bring the back longer tail around in front, and I do the Marrakesh bow knot, and I kind of fluff it the way I want. Make sure I have my tassels in or out, whichever I want. I think I'll put them in today. I check my my messy pleats. This is when I take my finger and I shove it under my shaper and push my shaper up off the top of my glasses. So that goes in there, and then I just shove my shaper up off the edge of my glasses so it's just not pinching me all day. And then I take I don't want my my tassels out, so I take the tassels and I just kind of fold them back, and I put them inside this one that I'm gonna just kind of make sure I like how it lays. So I'll just kind of do some messy pleats there without too much fussing, and then I just tuck the tassel inside that end. First thing that happened this morning when I started trying to wrap was my kitten grabbed my pashmina, my brand new neon pashmina, and tried to grab it with her claws. Okay, so then at this point I take my hand and I just kind of glide it along the tail, pressing it flat, because if I don't, I notice that it's a little extra bunchy in the back. So I just kind of push it along so that it's nice and flat. Then I'll check it with my mirror to make sure I like how it looks. Yep, that's just nice and casual and pleated. And then I'll take this last bit, and I have a big head, so I just always tuck wherever it fits. So then I just find that pocket on the side somewhere, and then I just take the tassels and I glide my thumb along it until they have disappeared. And then now I can kind of, make sure that my messy pleats are just how I want them. And then I can, fuss with my bow if it's not exactly how I want it. And this is probably my most common go-to style. So then there we go. And if I want an accent, I take one of my little barrettes and I pop it in right here, kind of creating a little more pleating there. I might do that. And then there's the back. And ta-da! Thanks, ladies.